Okay, so I have started the recording. So guys, welcome back to the Selenium sessions. And yesterday we had a basic concept on a basic understanding, I would say, on three topics actually. That was alerts and how do you handle multiple windows and iframes, right? So what we did yesterday, since these three topics are more or less relevant to each other, so yesterday we covered a basic concept of the entire handling of these three topics together in Selenium. And then we started working on how do we implement those in our Eclipse screen, like how do we implement in Java, right? So yesterday we saw alerts demo, right? We did how do you launch a particular alert and how do you handle those particular alerts, okay? So today what we will do is there are a couple of pending items. Yeah, so we will try to cover those. So yesterday we couldn't get time to cover the what I say these things, frames and multiple windows, right? So we will today try to cover all those things. So first thing is if you can see my Google Chrome screen, okay, this is my iframe example, right? And now this is a website, okay, and within this website there is a frame over here, right? So first I'll go to the basic steps, okay. I'll create a new class, okay, and I'll say our frames demo, right? I'm creating a frames demo. I'm not giving you the background of this because we have already covered the background yesterday. So today we will be focusing on the main part, that how do you identify and how do you implement this. Okay, so I have just quickly copy pasted, and over here what I'll do is I'll change the URL, okay, and my URL at this particular moment should be this. Okay, this line up till now everyone knows, right? Over here what exactly is happening. Okay, it will launch my Chrome browser and it will load this particular URL on the browser. Clear? Now what I have to do is, let's imagine, okay, now this is something which I have told you, right, that this is an example of frame. Let's imagine you don't know that this is an example of frame. What you would do is, you would simply identify this element. Okay, your content goes over here and you will find the let's say you'll find the XPath. Okay, so this is again a frame. Okay, so I'll say this is my ID, right? This is my ID. Okay, so I'll try to find this element by ID. So I'll say driver dot find element. I'll say by dot ID, and I have the ID, right? This is my ID, and I'll say send keys, and I'll send, let's say this is a test. Clear? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to send some values over here in this text box. Okay, and then I'll say driver dot quit. Sorry, I'll say driver dot. Okay, and I'll try to execute this. 1 second. Okay, I'll try to run this. So now when I try to run this, it's launching my browser. Okay, so Chrome browser has launched successfully. That's good. It will try to load your application. Application is loaded. Okay, now it will try to find, I mean, it's taking me line. Okay, now it's trying to find the next line, right? It's trying to send your value to this particular field. Okay, let's go to the Eclipse screen. Okay, and let's see what's happening at the background. See, it has given some exception that no such element, okay, unable to locate this element. Okay, so the problem is I am actually identifying the correct element on the web page, right? I am sure that I have identified the correct element, but still it's not working. And the reason why it's not working is, because this particular element, if you see on the web page, this is available on a frame. Can you see this? This particular element which is there. So inspect this, or maybe you can use the view page source, and if you say frames, there has to be frame body. Okay, frame. Okay, so the problem is this particular element, okay, which we are trying to access is available within a frame. Okay, usually you get this option of frame somewhere, and you right click. um, Not sure why are we not getting this option now, but you should actually get this. Okay, there's an option of reload frame, because the frames can be reloaded individually. Okay, yeah, so no worries. So now we have identified, okay, that there's something wrong. Okay, so what I will do is, I will try to see if there are any frames which are present over here. Okay, so how do you get the frames? Okay, first thing is, should I use find element or something else? Should I use find element or should I use something else to find all the frames? Yes, guys, can you hear me? So this is the question for everyone. Should I use find element or some other method within driver to find all the frames? Find elements. Okay, yeah, we should be using find elements because it might return you more than one frames. Okay, in a particular web page. Okay, it can be more than one frames, right? So you have to use find elements. Okay, so I can say driver dot find elements, and I'll say by dot tag name. What is the tag name for frames? What is the tag name which we use for frame? Frame. What is the tag name for URL? What is the tag name for URL? A. Perfect. So now what I have to do is, okay, so I have identified this. This is returning me what? This particular line number 17 is returning me what? This line number 17 is returning you all the frames, right? So now here comes the concept of Java, right? If I want to store all the frames, right? If I want to save it in a variable, what can I do? You have to define a list. And what data type of that list should be? What should be the data type? There has to be some data type, right? In Java, okay, you cannot have the generic thing, right? You have to define some data type. You cannot have a variable or a reference variable without a data type. No, that's, yeah, web element, right? So it has to be web element. Perfect. Collection is not a data type, it's an entire framework. Okay, so the data type is web element. And one shortcut is, if you don't know what data type it would be, what can I do? If you don't know what data type it could be, what can you do? Let's imagine, okay, I'm working on this particular line first time. This is my first encounter with frames, and I don't know what exactly it will be returning. Now, some people are saying that it will return a list or something, right? Yeah, so let's try to mouse over on this line. Okay, if you click on the method, which method over here I'm using? Okay, driver is my reference variable. Okay, and after dot, whatever I'm writing, for example, manage, get, find element, and find elements, this is actually the method name. Okay, and this method is trying to help you. Can you see this is a list of web element over here? Also, if you see, returns, okay, a list of all web elements, or an empty list if nothing matches. Okay, or an empty list if nothing matches. So a list of web element. Okay, so you can simply have this, copy this, and you can define a list of web element over here. Okay, and then you can define you can say frame list. Okay, something like this. Might have to import. If it is not imported, you have to import from java.utility. Okay, a web element, again you might have to import. You can use Selenium. Okay, this is one way. And the second way is, okay, let's imagine if you are not comfortable with, even finding these. I mean, this is quite easy, but even if you feel that, it's difficult, then what can you do? Is there any other way? Is there any other way? Because it should be easy, right? It should be something like people who are new, they should be also able to do that. What can you do? So sometimes, trial and get error, you error and you try. Sometimes what happens, if you don't know something, right, what exactly the value should be, put some value and let's see what happens. Okay. So, but over here, we are not going to do that, but I'll show you one quick way of how to achieve that. Okay. But you should not actually use this way. Okay. Always go for this find elements and define like this. But yeah, let's say what I'll do is I'll store this in somewhere, right? So this is frame list. Okay, this is frame list is equal to something. I'll simply save it in my variable. Okay, now it is giving me an error. I'll simply hover on this and I'll say create local variable. Okay, now Eclipse is giving me a help, create local variable. I'll click on this and it's done. Clear? So Eclipse is helping me to create this variable directly, and the data type is defined by the Eclipse itself. Okay, now I'll just comment this line. As of now, we don't need this. So now we have identified all the elements which are present, sorry, all the frames which are present on the web page. Okay, now we want to print each and every frames one by one. What should I do? What should I do to print individual frame? I have to use some, what should I use? Something called as looping, right? So I'll say for each web element in frame list, okay, I'll simply print web element. Oh, sorry, not this. It should be web element, the variable, right? I'll print web element, and I'll also try to print web element dot get attribute, and let's say I'll try to get the ID maybe. Okay, now let's try to run this. It might be fast because there's nothing explicitly we are doing on the, yeah, I'll let you know. Not sure if the net. So guys, I'm clear, right? Or is it blurring out my voice? Is it breaking? Just wanted to check my internet connection because the page is loading very slow, and usually this is not that slow. So I want to confirm if the voice is clear. Okay, yeah. So it went well. Okay. Oh my God, we didn't printed anything, man. So oh no, we have printed. Yeah, we did printed. Then what exactly is the issue? Chrome driver was started successfully. Okay. Oh. It was not able to identify any of the element. Why is it so? Is there any wrong? Can you guys identify something wrong in the code? No, I mean we can use thread. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's for timing let's use thread.sleep. Okay, since we are focused on the other concept, right? So timing, let's try to use thread.sleep for 5,000. It will give you a declaration error. Just add through declaration. Okay, now let's try to run this again. Usually the page should get loaded. I'm not sure. Might be some internet connectivity issue, and that is why you have to use wait, right, in your Selenium program. Okay, now it's fast. Okay, when I started using wait, it thread.sleep, it was actually fast. Frames demo. By.tag name, and I'm saying you have to say by.tag name. Oh my god. Can anyone guess what the issue is? Can anyone try to guess what the issue is? ID is in this ID. Okay, so now let's try to learn something new over here, guys. Okay, let's try to learn something new. Let's imagine if you, according to your entire knowledge, okay, you have done the coding and you feel that it is the perfect code, I mean the correct code. Now you're not sure what's going wrong over here. Then what you should be doing is, I'll use this concept of, I'll print one over here. Okay, I'll print two over here. Okay, and then I'll see if this is going in my for loop. Okay, and I'll print three over here. Okay, now let's try to run this. So I have actually caught the error. What the error is, I just want to show you that how do you debug now. Okay, so you have launched your browser. Okay, so it's printing one and it's printing two. Okay, so at least now, okay, I'll close these alerts. At least now we are clear that it's printing one and it's printing two, but it's not printing three. Okay, that means somewhere or the other my frame ID is not initialized. Which ID are we talking about? This. We don't need to initialize this ID because we are getting the attribute, right? So we don't, this is not my variable, this is just an attribute. Okay, so guys, the debugging step says I was able to print 1 and 2. Clear? But I am not able to print 3. That means something is wrong with my frames, okay, with my all the elements. So, any guesses? Okay, so actually the tag name over here is iframe. Okay, the tag name over here is iframe and not iframes. Okay, so the tag name over here is actually iframe. Now let's try to run this. Okay, so now can you see it's printing 1, 2, and 3, and it's also printing the ID, right? It's also printing the ID. So now it's working fine. Clear? And one more thing is, if you want to print the size, you can say frame list dot size. Okay, and initially this is a good practice to print your frame list dot size, because initially when we were using iframes, and if we would have been printed over here, we would have got a 0 over here, right? So we would have easily got. Okay, okay, so this is working fine now. Okay, so yeah, so what we have to do is, now we have to use the concept of switching, right? We have to use the concept of switching to that particular frame. So now it's very simple, right? We know the ID of this particular. You can use switch using ID, or you can simply say driver dot switch to, and we have this frame, right? Your index starts from the 0th element, and you can simply say 0. And after that, okay, after that, if you try to run this code, it should actually enter something now because we have used the switch concepts. Let's see. What was that? Did it entered or did it didn't entered? Okay, so I'll use some thread dot sleep because I couldn't see anything if it entered or no. Okay, let me run. Did anyone saw? Did it enter something? Okay, yeah, it's entering, guys. This is a test, right? Can you see this? It has entered. So earlier it was so quick that we were not able to see this. Okay, okay. Clear, guys? So this is working, right? So earlier we were not able to see because it was very quick, right? So after giving some thread dot sleep, we were able to see the actions over here. Okay, if you want to clear the existing text, right? If you see over here, this is the existing text, right? You can simply say, first you can say dot clear, okay? Before you send this line, okay, you can say, I'll say dot clear, okay? And then you can run this code. Okay, then it will delete the existing content, which has been the default text, which has been displayed on the editor, right? It will delete that and it will show your text which you are sending. Clear, guys? The concept is clear, right? So it will delete this, I believe, and then it will type in your. Clear? Okay, so this was more or less of your frame. Again, if you want to switch back to the parent frame, okay, you can simply use driver dot, there is a method switch to dot parent frame. Okay, if you see this method, this will change the focus to the parent context. Okay, the focus is going back to the parent frame. Okay. Okay, now let's not waste much time. Okay, frame, and now let's move on towards a new class that is multiple window handling. Okay, so I'll say handling multiple windows. Okay, again, I'll try to go, I'll copy the code. Okay, at least this much I should be able to copy. Okay, I'll paste it, and I have this. Oh, sorry. I have to define a method first, and then I'll copy. Clear? And what are the other things? I have to have the website, right? This is my website, so I'll use this and I'll try to launch this. Okay, I try to launch this website. Okay, so now again, first thing is, I have to click on this new browser window. Okay, I'll show you one example. Rest of the concept will remain the same. Okay, you have to click on new browser window. Okay, so you have this ID, right? ID is equals to button one. Okay, so I'll say driver dot find element by dot ID. Okay, you can specify the ID, and then you can say dot click. Okay, once you click on this, there would be multiple windows which will be opening on the screen, right? There will be multiple windows which will be opening on the screen. So what we have to do is, okay, what you have to do first, get all the windows, right? Get all the windows which have the same we did for iframe, right? Similar fashion. Okay, so I'll say driver dot get window handles. If you see this method, this is returning a set of window handles. Okay, now again, if I'm getting a set of window handles, I will have to save it somewhere, right? If I don't know where to save, I'll say windows equals to this, and then I'll simply say define this, create local variable. It's a set of string. Clear? So this is my, this will give you all my windows, right? Now, when I say all the windows means it will give you a parent window as well as it will give you your child window as well. Okay, it will. Okay, we have only 10 minutes left. Zoom has a restriction of 40 minutes, so let's try to cover this in this 10 minutes. Okay, so it will give you your parent as well as your child window. So first thing, okay guys, now later on what will happen, if you get all the child window, I mean if you get all the windows, you will get confused that which is the parent window and which is the child window, right? You will, if you want to differentiate, okay, okay, then you have to make sure that you first save the parent window somewhere, right? So if I am on this particular page, get window handle. Now, as I explained to you yesterday, when I'm using this driver.get, means this driver is pointing to this application as of now. Okay, so I'll store it somewhere. I'll say parent window. This is my parent window. Okay, and this actually should be your string. Okay, string parent window is equal to this. Now, what will happen? This windows will give me multiple windows. Okay, and what I have to do is, I have to just check that if this windows is matching to my parent window, that means this is my parent window. Okay. And if this window is not matching, that means this is my child window. Clear, guys? Are you getting the concept? Let's imagine what I have to do is, let me write the code and then I'll show you. Okay. First thing is I have to use if. Yeah. So someone was asking for this thing, right? So for each, can you see this last method for each? Iterate over an array or iterable. This, if you double click on this, this will give you this shortcut for each. Okay. Now, what you have to do is over here, I have to use for loop. Okay. First thing is I have to use for loop because I will be getting all the windows into this my variable. Okay. Then I'll take one windows into my string and again I'll say if, okay, if this string dot equals to my parent window. Okay, if this string dot equals to parent window, that means this is my parent window, right? So I have to do nothing. But if this is, I'll use the negation over here. Okay, I'll use the not. If this is not equal to my parent window, then I can say string child window is equals to string. Okay, then I can say string child window is equals to string. One good practice is, to define this over here like this. And over here, you can just say child window so that child window can be accessed outside the loop as well. Clear? Now we have the child window and the parent window as well, right? Any confusion up to this point? I think people might have been confused. If there is any confusion, let me know at this point. Or do you want me to explain again? Is it clear? No, we don't have to give null over here. But as you know, see, this is a local variable, right? This is a local variable and local variable needs to be initialized, right? Okay. So why null here? Why set here? No. These are all the concept again of Java, for that I'll have to concept. You cannot use list over here because list can contain duplicate values. Your Windows does not give you duplicate values and hence we have the set over here. Clear? And if you hover on this, it is returning you set of string, right? It is not returning you list of string. It is returning you set of string. Okay. So what we are doing is, guys, let's say I have two buckets. Okay, I have two buckets. One bucket contains apple, one bucket contains orange. Okay, now you don't know which bucket contains what, right? So if you get all the fruits from the bucket, okay, if you mix apple and orange together, will you be able to identify that bucket one was containing apple and bucket two is containing orange? No, right? So at this point of execution, okay, over here when I am launching my website, I know that this is my bucket one and this bucket one contains apple. Okay, so I store this information. Okay, so I'm storing that this particular window which is at present is my parent window. Okay, so tomorrow I won't be confused. So this is my parent window. Now this windows is giving me what? It is giving me both, right? It is giving me parent window as well as it is giving me child window. Clear? This window has the value of parent as well as child. Now what I am doing is over here, I'm comparing each value. So I get the first value. if the first value of this window matches to my parent window, that means this is my parent window. Clear? Then I have to do nothing, right? I have to do nothing because parent window I already have. If the first value, okay, if the first value does not matches to my parent window, that means this is my child window, right? If the value, okay, the value which we have in window does not match to parent window, that means this is my child window, and I'll simply store it in my child window. Okay, and then what I'll say is I'll say driver dot switch to dot window, and I'll say child window. Okay, I'll say child window, and now what I'll do is, let's say I print driver dot get title. Okay, what I am doing is, guys, I am switching my parent window. Let me print my parent window. First thing is, let me use some thread.sleep because my network is actually running slow today and I don't want to get unnecessary issues. So after this is loaded, I'll just copy this line over here and I'll print this. Okay, this is my driver.get title, this is my parent, and this is my child window. Now let's try to run this code. Okay, so it has launched your application. It has, it will actually click. It's loading, and also we have used thread.sleep, right? Okay, so it has clicked. New window. Yeah, that's it. I think it has done the job. Okay, now can you see this? It's printing, right? It's printing this is my parent window and this is my child window. Clear? If let's imagine, if I don't switch, okay, if I don't switch, I'll say driver dot quit. If I don't switch, and now if I run this, okay, now can you see both the outputs are same? Why? Because it is on the parent window at this line and it's getting the title. Now what we have done is we have identified the child window, but we are actually not switching to the child window. Okay, so when you switch, then we are getting the title of child window. That means the pointer is at child window. Then you can perform all the operations on the child window. Again, what you have to do is you have to switch to window. Okay, and this window should be your parent window, right? And now when you print this again, okay, I think it's working fine. Let's not use thread.sleep. Okay, is the concept here, guys? Now when you print it again, it will print your it's printing parent window first, then child window, then again parent window. Okay, we have less than a minute. The session will get end at any time. Okay, I'll upload this video and I'll share it with you. Okay, if you have any queries, let me know. Okay, you can ping on the group or maybe one-on-one. I hope the session was clear. Okay. Okay, guys. So the plan was, so I was planning to cover all these 3 topics in 2 days. So I have covered the topics. Okay. Now again, when I plan something, I'll plan something, a couple of topics, and then we'll meet again. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if you have multiple child window, right, you can use the same logic, right? Same logic. First, get the first child window. Okay. Switch to that child window, perform the operation. Okay. And then switch back over here and then close that window, right? Again, you can use this logic and the next child window will be stored in this child window. Perform the operation, close the window. Once you close the window, you will not get in this particular Windows variable, right? If you keep on closing. Okay, guys, I think it was good. Let's meet some other day.